Hello everybody and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 51. Hello a croeso I podcast rhif 51. My name is Mr. Gareth Evans. This is Mr. Henry Ball Crusher Cooper.
God, why did I get that name?
You've been crushing balls this week in the comments, right? Busting balls.
Yeah, a little bit.
You have been busting balls. That's to come later on when we're reading out the YouTube comments.
I need a more elusive name for my OnlyFans account though than Henry Ballbuster Cooper or whatever it was you just said.
It's good enough for this week. It only lasts a week. Don't worry.
You'll
get you got a new one next week. Don't worry about it.
I love it when these OnlyFans people list themselves as I'm a content creator. Are you really? You're taking nudie pictures. Anyway,
let's move on. What we've got on the agenda today. So I'll be talking about Children of Morta. We will actually, because we played it a little bit together too. We've got a new segment this week next called What's Been Pissing Off Henry This Week. Henry's going to be talking about Split Second, which he has been playing. We'll be talking about a teaser or some sort of weird images that have appeared on the Rockstar webpage. We'll be analysing that and to figure out what it means. We'll be taking Discord questions from the Patreon community. We will have the Triggered Fanboy comment of the week. We will be also reading the regular YouTube comments or our top comments from this week. And then we'll have a bad dad joke of the week to round up the show as usual. Now, first up on the agenda is Children of Morta. Now, I picked this game up. Well, it was released, I'll start from the start. It was released September the 3rd last year. So it's like a 5-month-old game. And as a description of what the game is, like buckle down because there's a lot of terms here. It's an indie roguelike dungeon crawler hack and slash action RPG with couch co-op. Like how many tags do you need?
I mean, that's going to drive up the SEO, right?
Yeah.
Someone will get there.
There's so many words there. There's so many like genres that it dabbles on that it doesn't tell you anything that unique about the game.
Especially as so many games are indie roguelike dungeon crawler hack and slash action RPGs with pixel art.
Yeah, it is pixel art. It's weird because a lot of people, some people say it's a hack and slash game. Other people say it's an action RPG game. Other people say it's a roguelike dungeon crawler game. Now you can take your pick from any of those descriptors. And you wouldn't be wrong, but it wouldn't tell you the whole story either. That's why I've put them all together, because, we like to be factually accurate on this channel. For the most part, anyway. There are certain specific things that make this game, although it sounds like a lot of games, there are certain things that make it unique. We'll get into that later on. So what is the game about? So you play the role of the Bergson family, who live next to Mount Morta, and they're the keepers of this Mount Morta. Now, a corruption has infiltrated the lands, and it's their job to purge the mountain of the corruption. Now, these demonic creatures are all over the place, and we have to go out and kill them, basically. Kill the corruption and reveal the secrets therein.
It really sounds like a 90s sitcom in New York. The Bergson family. They're just a normal family, but with one big secret.
It's unusual that it's got such a backstory to a game like this, right?
Yeah.
And you're right, there is, but that's part of the game. Like, that's part of what's good about the game. But we'll get into that as well. So it was developed by Dead Mage, published by 11-Bit Studios. Metacritic, it's got an 82 on the PC version, 83 user score, so it's a slightly higher user score, which is always a good indication. It's available on a PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Mac. So it's available on everything right now. It is on the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, and Game Pass for PC, which is where I spotted it and started playing it. However, since I started playing on my PC, I was like, this would be ideal for the Switch. I actually picked it up for Switch. It was on offer, 32% off at £13.50. Which is awesome. I did spot it on GOG for cheaper, for £13. For those of you who are interested in picking it up on a PC, my God, go to GOG. They've offered this 30-day no strings attached refund policy now. No DRM. You can just install it. You don't have to be connected to the online. It's got such a good service now, GOG.
And yeah, some people still complain about the refunds thing.
We'll get into that too.
There'll be probably some comments about it.
Yeah, I also spotted on GOG last week's impressions on the podcast were about Darkest Dungeon. That's available on GOG for £5.69, which is an absolute steal. That's 70% off. Oh my God, we're not affiliated with the GOG. They just are awesome.
We could be if you want to be.
Yeah, if anybody's watching,
hook us up.
Absolutely. So this game, lovely pixel art aesthetic, which some people don't really like pixel art, but what the games lack in graphical fidelity, I always say that they make up for in mechanics and gameplay and fun. I just love these types of games. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a AAA game. You can see that straight away. So people who only like play AAA games, they see it and they think, oh shit, it's shit, because it looks like, it doesn't look like a big budget game. It doesn't mean that it's shit at all. There's just so much gold out there if you're willing to pan through it. Yeah, there is a lot of shit, but when you get a good one, oh my god, it's well worth it, because these games are so inventive and they push the mechanics more than these AAA bullshit. Churn them out every year games.
All the creativity is happening in indie.
Absolutely.
Rather than
absolutely. AAA. That's why you've got so many tags in this game, because they're trying so many different things and making a unique kind of combination of shit. Anyway, so what does the gameplay involve? Now, basically basic dungeon running. If you played a dungeon crawler game before, you know what happens in this. So you've got 6 characters to choose from. You begin with 2, which and you unlock the other 4 when you carry on with the story. Now, John and Linda are the first 2. John and Linda Bergson.
Again, John and Linda Bergson were just a normal family.
Well, John's the father, Linda's the daughter. So,
there you go.
So they're not. The wife is actually pregnant, so she doesn't partake in the combat. But each of these characters has a unique combat method or ability or whatever. Linda is a bard, that's her role, and she's a ranged character. She's a bow and arrow, for example. And John is a warrior. He's a melee character with sword and shield. There are 4 other character classes: Pyromancer, Monk, Assassin, and Brawler. I won't read out the names; it's just get boring by that point. So what's interesting is that the gameplay and the combat for each of these characters is very unique, and you'll soon learn which ones you like and which ones you don't. You'll have a favorite, absolutely, and different people have got different favorites. So there you go. So as you're crawling through these dungeons, because it is roguelite, there are some permanence throughout your runs, but there are also things that you lose as well after each run. Now, the things that are only run specific are things like a Divine Grace, which is a passive power up you can collect while you're on a run, and it gives you like increased dodge chance or increased primary attack damage or something like that. Another one is a Divine Relic, which is an active power up which you actively you use, that you can summon a dragon, one of the powers is, and which is like an area effect thing. People, when the enemies walk into it, they actually get decimated. It's a really good power, that one. And there's another power, for example, which is become temporarily invisible. And there's like shed loads, like 20 odd of each of these. So we'll make sure who runs individual, makes your runs like kind of a little bit different. Adds to the replayability, is very good. Other things as well, like charms, runes, obelisks, which are like timer buffs and things like that. I won't go into detail on them, but hence to say that these are the non-permanent things, these are the roguelike elements that you only have for the one run. Now, once you do a run, you go back to your home, and there's a lot of things going on, right? So leveling or progression is my next topic of conversation. So it is procedurally generated, so the dungeons don't get boring quickly, I'll put it that way, because eventually they will get boring because of I'll come on to that later in the pros and cons. So it's not a hardcore rogue like I've just mentioned. You do carry on, there's some permanence, and you can progress as you go. So you collect stuff called Merv, I think it is. Merv, yeah, it's like the gold. Like you kill an enemy and like it explodes with Merv, but it's gold essentially. It's just a currency that you spend when you get home, and it's a pretty unique system, right? So you earn the currency while you're out and about dungeon crawling, but you spend the cash when you get home. And when you upgrade at home, you upgrade the whole family. So it doesn't just apply to the character you used during that run, which is good, which is really good. So you can upgrade things like more health, stronger attack. You've got more critical chance, more powerful criticals, things like that, which is lends into the RPG side of things, which is how you increase your stats on each character. And then after upgrading the whole family, you can also upgrade each character individually. Now, as you're combating through the caves, you get XP, you reach your level, you get a skill point to be able to spend in your tree, right? So there are unique to that character unlocks, and there are also family unlocks as you go through with each character, which is an actual brilliant idea, and I'll tell you why. It incentivizes you to play as each character, because if each character has a family buff at a certain skill level, then you have to play that character in order to get better at all your characters. The whole family benefits when you play with that character. So it forces you to, it doesn't force you, but incentivizes you to play as different characters. which you normally wouldn't play as, and you might realise that more characters are more fun to play than you thought. So, for example, when I first started off as John with the sword and shield, and I thought this is pretty clunky, and then I just used Linda for like the longest time. I thought she's easy to use. She's got a ranged attack. She's got 2 dodge abilities, whereas John's only got 1, and that's on a cooldown as well. So she can use 2, and then it charges up. And John is not as mobile, basically. So I was more comfortable with Linda. Unlocked her like family buff, and then I thought, well, if I do John for a little bit, I can unlock his like power thing to make Linda a little bit more stronger. So I did that, and I realized how really awesome John is to play. He just sits there with a shield, and they all come at him, and they can't touch him, and then he just like stabs. It's really good. He was really. I wouldn't have realized that had I ever just stuck to Linda the whole time. And that's why I think it's good that they incentivize the use of other characters in that way. And I don't know many games who've done that have incentivized you by giving you a buff for all your other characters just by using a specific character. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I think a game that focuses on family in terms of like the narrative is great, but it also impacts the mechanics because of this like sharing abilities and buffing each other, but also the fact that it's co-op. That all lends itself to the fact that it is a family thing really, really well, I think. And again, just makes me think that it's a sitcom.
Let's run with that theme. So one of the other biggest parts of the game is the strong narrative. It's a really narrative focused game, which is very unusual again for a roguelike game. Usually roguelike or roguelite, any rogue element type of game, it's just one try after another try after another try after another try, and there's not much more to it in between. In this game, in between, you get like a nice story beat or something. There's like a little cut scene where the family's interacting, and it's narrated by this one guy, so there's only one voice in the whole thing. So it's very different in that way, and you feel like attached to this family. So things happen, people go missing, bad things happen to them, whatever. I don't spoil too much. Good things happen to them, and you feel like you're part of that journey with them, which is great. It gives you that narrative experience. So a little bit more background. When the corruption arrives in the mountain, obviously Bergson's job to protect the mountain. What Grandma does, because she's an old Bergson, she opens up a secret stairway in the fireplace to reveal a secret bat cave underneath the house. So that's where the Bergsons go to travel to the mountain and back. And there's like a big rock inside a water, and that teleports you back when you die, and that's how it works with like, you don't actually die, you just get teleported back and you finish your run,
which I really appreciate. I can't stand it in these roguelike games when they just you just die and you keep going without any justification. It's one of the most frustrating things for me about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is there was no reason in canon like why you just kept dying.
Comes back to life. Yeah,
like other games, like I think Bloodborne, they do it because it's a dream and all of it's the world you're in isn't real, and there's all like layers and stuff. Game I was playing recently, what was it called? Blasphemous, which is a similar sort of pixel art indie dungeon crawler roguelike thing, which is really good. That you die because you're repeatedly atoning for your sins type thing.
Yeah.
So I
like it when it makes sense in the exactly. lore of things, right? So that's cool. All you need is a magic stone. Just make him put magic stone, and it works, right?
In my world, magic excuses anything. Like if a movie tries to explain, it's science, I'm like, okay, well the science has to make sense. If they say magic, I'm like, cool, I'm there with it.
Do what you want. Do what you want now. Yeah,
it's a narrative shortcut.
There you go. So the story is very strong in this game, and it'll carry you through if you get hooked onto it. And there are another good point is that there are story elements which are introduced while you're out there playing. So on one specific run, for example, we come across a room where there's like a wolf that's dying with like claw marks on it, and there's a baby cub right next to it. Obviously, the baby of the parent who's died, and this monster's like circling this cub, and he's barking them off. So you save the cub, and then during that run, when you die, the cub arrives back at the house and now is your pet, and there's like that adds to the story. That's just one example of like the random thing, not random, but the scripted things that can happen during a run, and it adds to your kind of immersion. It's weird, like it's obviously not an immersive type of game, but it adds to your connection with the story, right?
And it's a good little extra excuse to explore more of the dungeons, because once you find the door, you can go straight there and, mainline it straight through. But if you look around the corner, you might find another door to a secret place with this little extra story beat, which is a nice little...
You do have to explore. What a beginner tip for anyone is explore the whole dungeon before you progress to the next stage, because you can't go back, and there are a lot of things that you can pick up, like the perks and skill bonuses and stuff like that, right? So we played it together for an hour or something, and we had some fun, right? The couch co-op of it is pretty strong.
Yeah, and the difficulty scales, because obviously you were playing it on your own originally, and then you said when I came in, all the enemies there was just loads more of them.
There was loads more enemies, absolutely.
And you stuck with your lady Linda. I was Big John, and we just get to like a bottleneck essentially. I'd stand there with my shield up and just smash them, and you'd be standing there at the back shooting. Yeah. So it made for a good little dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. The mechanics, those two worked really well, because my character has to stay at range, and then your character can fend them off. So I can deal with them as from a distance. You hand them off and just stab them, and it worked really well. It
did mean that I spent most of the game on like red health, because I'm there just shoot them, please, just hacking away at whatever I can.
So as well as your primary attack, you've got like a secondary attack, which is more of like an area attack, which is special, which is on a cooldown, and you can also get additional attacks as you progress through, just like non-permanent ones, like random.
And when you collect health potions and gold and stuff, I think that's shared across both people as well. So I was saying that I just lost a bunch of health. If Gaz picked up a health potion, it would heal the both of us. So it's in your best interest to just pick up everything you see. Yeah,
the obelisks, or it gives you bonus XP for a certain time duration, and that's for both people too. However, there are... what were the runes or whatever, relic, which are individual. The passive abilities you pick up, and only one of you gets them. So you have to choose which one of you suits best when you find one. So answer the kind of roundup, I guess, what's good and what's bad about it. Obviously, I've talked about the narrative. It's one of the strongest parts of the game, that's for sure. And it's what makes this game unique, I think, in terms of the genre that it's in. Although, if you can call it a genre with all those descriptors.
It'll make a great sitcom.
And those shared upgrades as well. I like that idea. I like that you don't have to grind with one character they don't like in order to unlock it. Because the family upgrades as one character does, if you do want to upgrade the other character to get the family buff from him, that character is already very powerful when you first start using him. He doesn't have to start from scratch as such, which is another great way to kind of... So you do have to play him, but he's pretty strong anyways. So yeah, it just works really well. I like the way that they've designed the game in that way. The combat, again, is well thought out. There's a lot of variation in the combat between the characters. And the game never feels too punishing. Like these roguelike games can feel punishing sometimes. You can lose a lot of progress, but it always feels like you are progressing, because you can carry some of the currency back and pay for some upgrades when you get back with the currency that you've earned during a run. A run might take 15 to 25 minutes, if you're capable. It can be a lot shorter than that, believe me, because I've done it. But you can play this in short bursts, right? So you can just pick it up and play it for 10, 15 minutes and put it down. And because I've got it on the Switch as well, you just pause it with the top button if you get busy or whatever. It's one of those games that you can just pick up and play. And it's great co-op as well. We had a great fun.
Is it only up to 2-player co-op?
There is only 2-player, yeah. I believe, unless I'm mistaken. So yeah, there's a lot of replayability, different run-specific skills which add to that, and abilities which keep it interesting. I've mentioned that already. What is not so good, however, a couple of the points that I picked up, is that the enemies and the environments are pretty repetitive. They're just once you've killed one of them, or if you've seen one type of enemy, there's only like 5 or 6 enemy types that I saw, to be honest, and there are limited environmental traps. There's like one exploding flower, when you shoot it explodes, one magnetic shrine thing that just draws you in, and there's the spike traps, and there's not much more than that, and that's consistent throughout Dungeon 1, and it's the same in Dungeon 3 as well. No matter where you are, if you've seen them, you're familiar with them. So that is pretty much my my thoughts on. I would say I would recommend it based on what you've heard. If you appreciate some of the elements that I've highlighted there, I would say take a look at it, especially it's £13 on PC or Switch right now. I'm not sure whether that sale will still be on by the time you check out. But those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed my kind of preview impressions thing. It wasn't a review, just an impressions thing.
Well, that chit chat about co-op leads me onto this new sort of segment you're going to try and make a thing, which is what's been pissing me off this week.
What's pissing Henry off this week?
Well, see, that couch co-op thing was really easy. All you had to do is get a controller and you're done. I spent Friday and Saturday playing pretty much the same night, just with two completely different sets of people, just playing like Mario Kart and Smash Bros and stuff. I had a great time. That's all easy. It's one of the best things about the Switch. It's so versatile. Just rip out the Joy-Cons and away you go. Mm-hmm. But then it came to trying to play Rocket League. Because I think I've got it on my PS4 and my Switch, but I didn't have it downloaded on the PS4. So I was like, fine, I'll play it on the Switch and I'll just go from there. I don't have any progress on it but whatever. Downloaded it. I was like, okay, let's play. No, you've got to sign someone else in and make them an account and build their car and everything. I'm like, no, we're not fucking doing the cars. Can we just play? And I was like, okay, all right. I've forgotten that I've deleted my Nintendo Online, so I'll buy that. I'll buy a month for it of like £3 or whatever it is.
Just to play you on fucking evening.
But especially because bots on Rocket League are so bad.
Yeah.
They're so bad. So I was like, okay, well, I'm the host of the party and the game, so that's my system. So all right, well, I'll buy it, and then that should be fine. Nope. It then tried to make me buy a Nintendo Online for all the other accounts, and those other accounts, they don't really exist other than for these extra people to play. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing that. So that whole thing just really pissed me off about how couch co-op is. Well, just it's kind of the nature of it.
More convoluted than it could have been. Right?
And it kind of made me a bit bitter about the state of kind of video games these days. Not in the quality of the games themselves, but the hoops you have to jump through to play them. And it's not anything that I can fix. It's not anything that's going to change. But it just made me miss the ability to put in a game, just play it, and then if you got a mate, stick a controller in and you're done. That's it. Instead of fucking download after download and patch after patch, and then you sign in to my account, which is going to take ages because it's got to fucking spin up and load, and then sign someone else in. It's like, do you want to play as a guest? Well, no, I might play with them in the future. They might want to save their progress. Oh no, so you've got to make an account, you've got to have a username, you've got to have an associated email address. And all of this was the same problem I had when I was trying to play Gears with my girlfriend a few weeks ago. We had to do all that, but to be fair, that was quite entertaining watching her try and put together like an Xbox avatar and stuff, because she's it's just like The Sims and stuff. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. Can we just shoot shit?
Yeah.
But it's just frustrating. So that's what's pissed me off this week. It's the frustration of just trying to play a game with your mates. It used to be so much easier.
It's like this corporate it's the same kind of thing as when you walk into a shop these days. You buy something like a new t-shirt and they say, oh, you got an email address I can send the receipt to.
Oh my god, go
it's
away.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, thank you. Give me the paper receipt like you always used to do.
Screw it up.
You're not having my personal information. You're not going to take up any more of my time. I'm already giving you my fucking money. Just do that. Let me walk out this shop right now. Damn it. It's the same kind of thing. They just want more of your time, more of your attention.
In those situations, it gets to the point where I'm like, well, I'm at the counter. I've got this t-shirt. I've spent ages like wandering about. There you go. That looks cool. I'll buy it. And they say, can I offer you any of this shit? Part of me's like, you know what? Fuck off. I ain't doing the sale. Right? Oh.
No.
On a similar note, I was... You know when you have the internal monologue of, I should really go off on this guy, but in reality you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
I was in game.
Well, I do.
Well, because it was so minor. I was in game a few weeks ago, just browsing, and they had, I don't know if you've seen, but in game they've recently launched for the PS4 exclusives range a bunch of collectible slip-on cardboard covers and everything. I was like, well, they're pretty cool. Unfortunately, I already own all of these games, so I'm not buying them again just for a bit of like a cardboard sleeve.
Yeah.
And there was Uncharted 4, I think it was for like a tenner. And I was like, oh, I don't actually own this. I've played it, but I don't own it. So I'll buy it on physical. Took the box with the thing onto the counter, and then the guy goes away to get the one with the actual disc in, then comes back, and I'm like, oh, there's none. There isn't the slipcover, like, that's what I'm here for. And he's like, oh, sorry, they didn't ship us enough. And so the guy who was serving me was actually fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was the other guy who was presumably like a manager or something, being like, yeah, we haven't got any more. And I was like, right, well, if you don't get one, you're losing the sale. Because I'm not, this is what I mean by that. I could have exploded at him, but I was like, well, yeah, I'm not buying it for just the game. I'm buying it as a collector's item because I like physical media and I like having stuff. I've already finished this game. I don't need to buy it again. I'm choosing to. And if you don't,
I don't want it if you don't have
the thing. And the thing is, a guy next to me, completely separate customer being served by a completely different guy, he was going through the exact same thing pretty much, trying to buy God of War with its slipcover as well. And the guy was like, oh no, we've only got pre-owned copies. And I was like, that's definitely a fucking lie.
Ugh.
That's definitely a lie. It's one of the biggest games of the PS4. It's huge. There's no way you've only got pre-owned copies. You're only saying that because you'll make more money off the pre-owned ones because that's where you get all your money.
There you go.
And I'm normally quite sympathetic to games retail, especially when people shit on it all the time. So especially with what's the American one?
GameStop.
GameStop, not GameSpot. My God, recording that took ages.
GameStop.
Yeah, people shit on it all the time because the service is shit, and I'm like, well, I don't shop there, so I don't want to, begrudge it. But this guy completely made me think of all those YouTube videos of saying my life working at GameStop.
Validated all those.
Yeah, and I was like, you fucking prick, man. You're the reason these shops are falling apart. Go fuck yourself.
Okay, that was our first of maybe many weekly rants. What's pissing off Henry this week? I got involved as well there, so
it turned into a bigger segment than I was thinking. So
bit of extra bonus for you there this week. Let's move on to Split Second. What is Split Second, Henry? Why are we talking about Split Second?
I mean, it's only a game.
Why is it on this script, Henry? Tell me about
2010. It's ancient. So Split Second, in case you didn't know, it's a racing game that feels like a racing game. It's got basic racing mechanics, get to the finish line before everyone else. But its whole gimmick is that you're in this like TV show thing, so everything's really loud. There's a narrator who's like super overexcited, like an extreme sport, because you're in this city that is completely rigged to blow. You can blow up walls, entire buildings. There's helicopters which like drop barrels and shit. So mechanically, it plays like a normal racing game, but as you race and you do tricks, like if you drift or if you go over jumps or if you like drive really close behind someone, like tailgating, you fill up this energy meter, which then gives you the ability to do a power play, which is essentially you can trigger one of these explosions. So if you're in third and there's a guy in front of you, there'll be a little icon above his head, and you trigger the power play, and it'll blow up like a gas tank right next to him, and hopefully it'll blow him up and he'll be eliminated, and then you can advance the position. When it gets really interesting is when you get to like a level 3 power play, because it's basically just a massive fuck off spectacular explosion, like bringing down a building. Or there's one map where it's like an airport, so there's a huge control tower, and that whole thing comes down. But not only that, it then changes the route up, so if you don't, it'll probably squish everyone and blow them up, which is great. But then it opens up a completely new route and just changes the race dynamic and makes things really, really interesting. But then there are some, like that one that you're just looking at, where you trigger a plane to crash down, and that's really, really powerful and can mess everyone up. But it can get you as well, so it's kind of a risk-reward thing. Like I can eliminate everyone else, but I might end up destroying myself in this. But the thing is, it's a game that came out way back in 2010, and I never played the full version at the time, but I played the demo on Xbox 360 over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I never got around to getting the full game because I think it was never in the shop when I was trying to buy games, or I could never afford it. So I used to buy pre-owned games all the time. I never bought a game new, really. But on Xbox Live through backwards compatibility, it's $8.99, and it's even cheaper on like PC on like Green Man and all that. It's so like
did you buy
$150 or something? Yeah, I bought it digitally.
So what spurred you to buy it? Because you played the demo, you thought it was good, it was cheap.
Because I played it years ago, and it's a game I've always fancied and always really enjoyed, but I never gave it the full attention because life kind of got in the way. So I fancied it.
You picked it up.
I bought it and I loved it. I think it's easily one of the most interesting racing games, but unfortunately no one else really seemed to care. It's got pretty good reviews. It's between 79 and 84 on Metacritic. So people like it, and it's got its fans because it's got a reasonably high Metacritic rating, but apparently only sold 86,000 copies in the US within the first like 12 days.
Wow.
Which is nothing.
Well,
That's
who
according to
developed
Wikipedia.
it?
Developed by BlackRock Studios, which is now defunct and which went down the year after it became defunct in 2011.
Well, Disney game.
It's made by Disney, and what kind of prompted my my reappraisal of this was covered a story earlier, maybe the end last week, I can't remember, about Disney offering up their slate of IPs to the developers, because it's like, well, we don't want to make them, you come in and make them for us. And I was like, Split Second was really good, do that, because for some reason Disney made a game about a game show with exploding cars. This doesn't seem to fit their MO, but hey, it's really, really good. It's really fun. Like, the fundamentals of the racing mechanics are really solid as well. The cars have a really good sense of speed, but also weight. So if you take a turn too quick, you're gonna spin out. Yeah. So it's got a little bit of realism, but it's still quite arcadey. Yeah. And I really like the minimal HUD, because all it is your car, and then your like what position you're in, and your lap number, and then your energy just at the bottom of your car, and that's it. Occasionally something will flick up at the top, like you've just entered first, or you're 1.7 seconds behind the next position. And I just really like it. It's got a bunch of different modes, like normal races where you can just blow each other up and get to the finish line first. There's Airstrike, which is like just you, and there's a helicopter flying through the track and he's dropping bombs, and you've got to avoid all of those. There's Elimination, which I think is in a lot of other games these days as well, where whoever's in last gets blown up. My God, that can get really fucking stressful.
Tense, yeah.
Detonator, which is, again, is just you, and you only have to do one lap. But everything that can explode in that map is going to explode. So that's a proper like James Bond, Mission Impossible, like getaway driver moment, where everything that can go wrong is going wrong and everything's blowing up in your face. But I think it's just really fun.
It's a solid, fun,
racing
good
game,
gameplay
racer. I think my only problem with it is because it's got such a focus on blowing up other people's cars with these power plays. The actual like car on car damage is really, really, really minimal. Like I think it'd be better if it was something a bit more like Burnout, where you can properly smash the shit out of each other. But like you can nudge each other and bump them, but it doesn't do that much in the way of damage. I'm pretty sure there is multiplayer, but given that it's a 10-year-old game, I don't imagine anyone's populating the lobbies. But it's really fun, and I've been playing it.
There you go. That is Split Second. Thanks for that impressions.
10 years later, but hey, it's really good. Play it.
I mean, in this day and age, especially a racing game, the mechanics are pretty solid. But by the looks of this, I mean, it's not aged badly at all. No. It looks pretty stands up pretty much. I mean, this day it's all about graphics these days with racing games. How much better, how much more realistic it looks more than anything. But the mechanics, the driving mechanics from 10 years ago, for example, they still hold up to this day.
If you press accelerate and he goes forward, that's all that matters.
It works. It's good. Okay, let's move on to our next topic of conversation, which is this mysterious, strange thing that's happening at rockstargames.com. Now, some people think that they might be teasing a new game because new images have appeared on the website without explanation. And it kind of reverberates of when they started teasing Red Dead Redemption 2 on Twitter. They just, without any warning or anything, they just posted a picture of like a
red Rockstar logo with no caption or anything. It's just, and then, I wonder what this means.
Was it next week or next day or something that, there was, they posted 4 or 5 in total or whatever. And then eventually it was, Red Dead Redemption 2 is announced. So the fact that it's a mysterious image appeared on the website this time, it's got people talking. Now,
I love it when people get really annoyed about these kind of marketing campaigns. Exactly the same thing's happening with whatever the new Batman game is going to be. They keep dropping little teasers and everyone's like, oh, this marketing's so shit, just reveal the game. That's exactly what they want.
That's what they want. They want that outrage.
They're teasing you and they're getting you talking about it, and you getting angry is only making things better. They're not They're not like deliberately withholding it to piss you off. They're just trying to tease you so that you do get pissed off and then talk about it.
Pissing you off is part of the aim of it. So this image, the one we're looking at here, is big Rockstar logo in the middle of it. It's like a red thumbnail type of thing. A lot of just seemingly random words and just like Rockstar, like a periodic table or something. There's like a bunch of Rockstar images on the right hand side, and it's like trying to decipher that. It's like, what kind of game could this be? Now, looking at the words, it does say killing dreams, murdering hope, fighting the righteous, bullying the weak. oh my God, it used the word bullying.
Bully
it has to be
confirmed.
Bully
Bully
2,
2.
right? Bully 2 confirmed. That's what some people are saying.
And it's certainly possible.
It's possible.
But
Absolutely possible. But we've looked at it, and apparently this is something that they've used before on their website. 6 years ago, it was one of the mottos, I guess, that came as a subheader to the main links on the top of the website 6 years ago. Among other things that they used to, if you refresh the homepage, a bunch of things would appear underneath and this was one of them. So it's not new, it's not out of nowhere. It doesn't relate to a game so much as it relates to one of their mottos as a company. So it's more like, to me, it seems more likely that this is promoting the sense it's on the website like it was before. It doesn't seem like it would be game related to me. So yeah, it's got 19. It's got 19 and then a bunch of R's. We've counted it. There's 48 of them since 1948. No, that's right. They actually have been around since 1998. So yeah, I don't know what that means, but there are some unanswered questions about it. That's for sure. Whether it's about a game. Unlikely, I would say. I'm probably completely wrong.
I mean, well, they're existing IPs that they own because they publish stuff like Max Payne and Mafia, but they don't actually own those IPs, I don't think. So it's probably going to be GTA, Red Dead Redemption, which, I mean, we just got the other one, so it's probably not going to be that. Given the aesthetic of this, I wouldn't imagine it is. Or Bully, and Bully is probably the most likely, and that's been rumoured for a long time. But we'll just never know. Or it could be something brand new. If it is game-related at all.
Yeah.
Although GTA 5's Trevor, the guy who plays him, Stephen Ogg said a little while ago, I can't remember when, that the sequel was coming soon in inverted commas, and said about like their development time and how you should expect it by now. But we just don't know.
Yeah, GTA 6 has to be in the works. Like, GTA 5 is so popular.
Yeah.
I guess they're just trying to ring that out for as much as possible. GTA Online is what they're focused on is now. That's why it sounds so well. Let's be honest.
I love cryptic marketing like this because it gets you talking, it gets you thinking about
That's
stuff.
why idiots like us on the internet talking about it now. There's another kind of image that's appeared, and it's like a golden robot hugging around the Rockstar logo again. There's not much to say about this other than it looks kind of what date would you put that?
Yeah,
like
60s, 70s sci-fi, something like that.
So it's a sci-fi thing. It's not kind of what they do so much, is it, Rockstar? I don't know. It looks completely out. It wouldn't fit in any of the current IP, I wouldn't think.
I would absolutely play a sci-fi game with the Rockstar formula. I'd play the shit out of that. That'd be great.
There you go. So, speculate all you like. I'm skeptical, but I wouldn't rule out them announcing something soon. I'd probably think hiding it away on a website like this is probably less likely to go viral than sticking it on Twitter like they did last time. So if they are teasing something, they'd probably be doing it on Twitter by now. But anyway, who knows? Who knows? They might announce and release GTA 6 this year. They might even do that. That's why sometimes it goes like that.
Maybe it's just an extra thing of something that's yet to come that they're not even ready to tease yet, because after losing Dan Houser a couple of weeks ago, they need to get the shareholders and investors like riled up and like, no, we're fine. We've got this new project. Look at this. Give us all your money, please. Because their percentage dropped like massively. I can't remember what it was. Go find the old podcast. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
There you go. So that is the end of our discussions. Let us know what you think, by the way. I mean, we could be completely wrong, but let us know if you think there is a game, why you think it, down in the comments.
There could even be an answer by the time you're watching this. You never know.
Absolutely. So next up, we're going to go to the Patreon questions. Now, these are the questions put to us by our community over on the Discord channel, which you can get access to for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. Really does help us continue producing content for the channel. Without the patrons, without the community support, we could not operate. That simple. So if you do want to pledge a helping hand, head over to Patreon and you get access to the Discord. You can ask us questions in the podcast, put us on the spot. You can also get access to the podcast 2 days earlier than normal, or the public do as well as a bunch of other perks. You can check them out. So first up, we have a quiz. However, I noticed the internet's just dropped. I'm not sure whether you're going to get the answers.
Hold on, let me just check to see if they can.
So we might.
No, they can't be revealed.
Okay, we're going to have to put this one on pause, and hopefully the internet comes back. I mean, we do live in rural Wales; these things happen, and we're still waiting on that fibre 2 months later. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe in 10 years' time.
If not, we can save this quiz for next week because it's quite a good one.
It'll come back at some point. It's been dropped a couple of times today. So Metal Shark's question is on pause for now. Let's first go to Angry Hobbit 0.
Oh, no, there's another Metal Shark actual question after the quiz.
Do Metal Shark's other question first. Let's do that.
Would you rather play Sekiro up to the point of completing the second boss without the use of one of your arms, or complete an entire playthrough of The Quiet Man?
Oh,
now isn't The Quiet Man the one
of the
from
shittest games ever made?
Square Enix? Yeah, that it came out and everyone was like, "What the hell is this? Like, why have you made this thing?" If I remember rightly, parts of it are in full motion video. It's about a guy who's deaf.
Yeah.
I can't remember anything else. Everyone panned it when it came out.
Internet's back.
Oh, excellent. The internet's back. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's an action-adventure beat-em-up video game developed by Human Head Studios, published by Square Enix. And yeah, you're right. It was like the mechanics didn't really work well. They just didn't do it that well. And
you'd be forgiven for not knowing it even came out because no one talked about it.
You know what?
No promotion.
I would go with that answer. I would definitely like to play through that because we could do it on stream and we could do it together, and it'd be fun. It's like when you watch a bad movie and laugh at it, right?
Yeah, just rip the shit out of it.
We could do that. Although playing Sekiro without the use of your arms, I mean, if you got one of those controllers,
it's doable. A girl did it with just one hand.
Yeah,
she did it. But
you just have to like memorize the bosses.
Dark Souls, one of them. Yeah,
movements.
I just don't want to play Sekiro.
No,
I don't want to do it. I think playing The Quiet Man will be a laugh.
Good question though, Metal Shark. And would you rather questions are great for this type of content. If anyone wants to put in a would you rather question for next week's podcast, by all means, you're welcome to.
Okay, should we jump back and do this
quiz? Let's do the quiz,
okay.
And then, sorry, Angry Hobbit, we will get to your question. We'll get there soon. He's like, oh my God, I didn't answer that question.
Another superb effort on the quiz, Mr. Evans. At the request of Josuevo47, we delve deeper into Mr. Cooper's specialist subjects with a round of Metal Gear or Metal Band.
So this is for me, right? You know about these, I don't.
Even then, like the Metal Gear ones, there's definitely a few that I recognise, and there's some that are maybes. Metal Bands, I don't know if any of these are metal bands. At least not the music I listen to anyway.
I know one of these off the... Two of them. Oh,
well, that's good. All right, the first one is Pacifica Ocean.
That, I will say, is a metal band.
So I have no idea. I think it must be a metal band because I feel like I know that it was a Metal Gear character.
It has to be a
metal
band.
Then it sounds a bit too soft to be a metal band. So maybe.
Shall we see?
Let's have a look. No, it's Metal Gear Solid. Paz's cipher in the true ending of peace. Oh, now the internet's gone again.
Trigger warning. It's not.
Yeah, Discord's crapping out on me.
Discord's crapping out. Trigger warning to anybody who is a Metal Gear fan. Our ignorance is going to trigger you here because you're probably because it's one of them games that if you know it, you love it, and you're going to be screaming at people who don't know it, right? So, trigger warning for people who are big fans of the Metal Gears and Kojima fans or whatever. We're just going to piss you off by our ignorance in this segment, so deal with it.
I consider myself a big Metal Gear fan, but I haven't played Peace Walker because it was on the PSP. And then I think they re-released it for the 360, but I never got around to playing it. But here you go, it's a Metal Gear Solid character.
0 for 1.
Lone Star.
I would say Lone Star is Metal Gear, right?
I think that's a metal band. Yeah, it's a metal band.
Oh, man.
A Welsh metal band formed in 1975.
I should have known that. 1975, come on, give me a chance. Helix has to be Metal Gear. Has to be Metal Gear.
It sounds Metal Gear-y, but I can't think of who it is, so I'm going to say metal band. It's a metal band, Canadian hard rock and heavy metal band.
That was the one I knew. That was the one I knew.
Well, because it sounds sort of sci-fi, so it probably will. Vamp.
0 for 3, man. I'm gonna. If I get like 0 on this whole Vamp, it has to be. This Vamp has to be band.
That's Metal Gear. I know that one. Metal Gear, Romanian member of Dead Cell, the Black Ops. Vamp
0
is one of my
4.
favourite characters because he's just proper weird. He's not actually a vampire. He's just like...
I should have thought Kojima fit names.
Because it's weird. He'd like...
Skullface has to be Metal Gear, right?
Skullface, yeah, that's Metal Gear.
Has to be Metal Gear. I've just clicked. My brain's just clicked now.
Do you want to know what's interesting about Skullface?
What?
Nothing. He's really shit.
He's got a face like a skull.
That's it.
Has he got a face like a skull?
Sort of.
There you
He's
go.
just all like burnt up and shit. He's in Metal Gear Solid 5, so he's not very interesting. All right, Saint.
Saint is going to be Metal Gear.
I think it's a metal band. Yeah, metal band. American. It's a Christian
One
metal
for
band.
6, man.
White Mamba.
White Mamba, Metal Gear.
I think that's Metal Gear. Metal Gear, alias for Liquid Snake. Oh, I didn't know that, but
So
yeah,
that's
I knew I recognised
2
it.
for 7. If I just say Metal Gear in all of them, I'm going to get 50%, aren't I?
Statistically, you should get
If
it.
I get less than 50%, I'm pretty stupid.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
pretty stupid. I've got 2 out of 7.
Cloven Hoof.
Cloven Hoof would be a band.
That's got to be a band, right? Yeah, metal band from
3
Wolverhampton.
for 8.
Cloven Hoof. That's a good metal name. Cloven Hoof.
I have to redeem myself. Kerber. I'm going to go with...
You're doing it
averages
like
here
mathematically now.
So we've got a gear, band, gear, band, gear, band. So one of these is going to be... Quiet, I think, is going to be a Metal Gear. So I say a band.
Band for Kerber, I don't know. Yeah, it's metal band. English heavy metal band formed in Bristol.
4 for 9.
If I'm from Bristol, hello, we're Kerber. You don't sound that metal.
I'm going to redeem myself here. I had a 0 for 4, and now I'm going to get 5 out of 10. Hopefully, with Quiet being a Metal Gear.
She's the most obvious one. She's a Metal Gear character.
Redemption.
Girl
man.
who's
Redeem
pretty
myself.
clothless due to breathing through skin. Because that's Kojima. Be like when she came out, she's in like a bikini and some like ammo pouches and shit. And then he came out and said, "You're gonna like eat your words when you find out the real reason."
Yeah,
she's
stop
like,
being so chauvinist.
No, it's just because you wanted to see it. Just say that. Just be like, yeah, I wanted to see a hot chick. But no, you thought up some dumb fucking reason which doesn't even make sense because other characters in that game do the same thing but still wear clothes.
Yeah.
Stupid.
There you go, Hideo and his justification for his stuff. Go figure. Thanks very much, Metal Shark. That's 3 weeks in a row for me. I'm not saying it has to be Henry next week, but I would appreciate it if it was. So let's move on to the Angry Hobbits question, which he is waiting for us to read out now. So after many weeks of lurking, liking, and commenting on YouTube, I decided to toss a coin to my favourite YouTubers. Woo!
Thank you, sir.
The MVP. Off the back of one of last week's podcast questions about collectibles, have you guys ever looked into the high-end collectibles? The polystone resin stuff? If so, did you, like me, at first glance look at the statue and think it was cool and then look at the price and click off the site straight away? I got converted and now spending several thousand last year on them, with my first piece being a quarter-scale solid snake, which I'm sure Henry would appreciate.
I mean, yeah, so as a bit of extra thing, Angry Hobbit's profile picture on Discord is that statue. So go ahead and look that up if you're on Discord. Yeah, that's exactly it. If I ever see a statue, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like a really good example I saw recently is on the CD Projekt store. They do a Ronin version of Geralt, which is really cool, like super high quality. But I'm not fucking paying that price. I can't even remember how much it is.
Yeah.
But when it anything over, I don't even. It'd have to be something really good for me to spend any money on it because I'm really stingy. But when I see anything up for £100, I'm like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Even past 50, I'm reluctant. So,
I mean, I don't know. I could collect. I've got a statue of the Metro Exodus one because they sent that to me. Right, that's the only one I own. And I get the appeal because you can like display them, and it's like any sort of ornament. It's like it makes the place look cool.
Exactly.
So if I was to display any, it would be an ear, right? It'd be on like a shelf or something, which I probably need to put up. I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't rule out that possibility.
I just think if I want cool collectibles and stuff, I've got cool collectibles and stuff. I don't need to spend thousands of quid. I want something that I think looks cool and is of something I like. Like I bought a Geralt one recently for about 30 quid, and he's just got like a plastic base. I'm pretty sure he's just plastic, but he's like decent quality. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look like one-to-one exactly like him, but it looks cool, and I know what it is. And he's sitting there on my shelf, and I'm not looking at him up close every time. Like, oh, there's an error there. They've mispainted his nose or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think you do you, kid, but I'm not fucking spending that much money on what is ultimately
several thousand last
something
year.
You don't use. use.
I mean, you do because it's decoration.
No, you enjoy
it?
Certainly, but like if I'm not spending that much money on a luxury, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's each to their own, isn't it? I mean, people collect all sorts of things. People collect cars. I just like it's just
people
beyond
collect
like,
coins.
Yeah,
I was saying this to my girlfriend the other day. If you were like a millionaire with more money than sense and you didn't know what to do with it, what would you collect? Because I think like as like an extra hobby, because like these people collect coins or stamps or whatever, I think that's dull as fuck. But some people like it. If I was like a bazillionaire, I would definitely buy these like ultra high end ones because they do look better.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
I don't need it right now.
Not right now. Not on this shoestring
Not
budget.
on my watch. Anyway, let's go to the next question, which is from Cloney99, and I believe is one of many. Ninja sparked a discussion this week. Sekiro and other games that are especially challenging came up. A popular YouTuber made a comment about how some people don't play games to be challenged. I'd say that's wrong. There is no game in the entire market that is not challenging. The very core of video gaming is to overcome a challenge, no matter how small, and to be rewarded for it. You learn a new skill, even if it's just press W to move forward, and are rewarded for it. I do, however, support the notion that the punishingly steep learning curve of Sekiro isn't for everyone. What do you think? Do you know of a game that poses no challenge at all, no matter how easy it is? Is it still fun? Do you seek out games for other reasons than to earn rewards and become better? I fundamentally disagree with you there, Cloney. I don't think that all games are challenging because, especially these days, when you get games that aren't games, they're like experiences, you know? Especially like a bunch of VR stuff. Like when you don't do anything, you just
interact, right?
Yeah, you just like there's an underwater one where you're on a shipwreck and you look around and there's whales and shit.
Reminds me of that game
there.
where it's a 4-letter word. Abzu. That's a game that's no challenge. You literally just swim. That's it.
So you could argue that isn't a game because you don't.
I mean, from Cloney's defense, right? He says to play that you have to learn to operate the controls. So that in itself is a challenge for some people. So there's two different types of distinctions there, isn't there?
Yeah, but I don't think that would say you are being challenged. That makes sense.
I get what you're saying. You learn a new skill and reward.
It comes down to your definition of challenge. I think challenge is, it's not just overcoming something; it's learning to overcome something.
Was it Yoshi's Magic World or something? The Yoshi game,
Crafted World.
That people think that it's
too hard.
No,
too easy.
No, just not even a challenge.
Not worth being a game.
Yeah, it's just so easy, but it's a game for kids, right? Or am I just wrong there? Just an easy game.
Remember.
But there are like Nintendo S type of games that are just more family friendly, more for people that aren't really challenging. Abzu is a great example as well. It's not really a challenge so much as an experience.
Yeah, you experience it, right?
So I personally would disagree. I mean, obviously you're entitled to your opinion, even though you're wrong, Chloe. Yeah. But no, I would say that not all games are made to be challenged.
And not everyone plays a game for the challenge, even if it's a small challenge. Not everyone plays a game for the reward of saying, "Oh, I completed it."
Yeah,
because a lot of people will play a game just for escapism or to get engaged in a world.
I played Abzu and I fucking hated it.
Yeah,
it was like, what's the point? I mean, I kind of understand that if there's no challenge in a game, I'm not interested.
Yeah,
pretty much like Walking Simulator or something. It's like you just press forward and just experience as it happens to you. Then the end.
Yeah, but some people really like that shit.
Well, there you go.
Gets their motor running.
Each to their own. Anyway, thanks for the question, Cloney. And let's move on to your second question, Cloney. I just watched some new heroes for League of Legends today. Have you ever seen a game introduce a new feature which sounds ultra extremely cool on paper, like the concept you would spend 120 euros on without flinching because it's epic, but was either too complicated or too broken to do in game? This hero has 5 weapons, and depending on which one you carry and which one you have it as a side weapon, has different abilities. That's just so much. Another example that comes to mind is the Ultimate World Destruction of Crackdown 3 and Red Faction. That was awesome on paper, but at least today isn't used a lot, sadly. So it's just too complicated, or there's too much to do.
Yeah, I think your Crackdown 3 example is exactly right, because that was build to have this complete total devastation using cloud destruction engines and shit wasn't in the game. It was only available in multiplayer and was barely used, and everyone hated Crackdown 3 anyway. It's really cool ideas that are totally wasted or too broken.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they try and experiment with mechanics.
Yeah, it doesn't always work, but
I mean, experimentation is good. You can't just stay in your lane as a creator. If all creators stayed in the lane, you wouldn't have anything new. So it is what it is.
I think the best cases for this are like multiplayer games, especially hero games like League or Overwatch, where they add a new character and you see something in the trailer like, oh, this person does that, that's really cool, but when you try and do it yourself, it's like, what this doesn't work, this doesn't feel good. Unfortunately, I don't really play many multiplayer games, so it's hard to comment on that one.
There you go. So thanks for question number 2. Anyway, let's move on to question number 3 from Cloney this week.
I believe this is Cloney's final question, and it's another SMK. Also, while you're busy with my submissions, Shag, Marry, Kill Devil May Cry edition. Trish, the heartless demon lady created by Mundus, who develops motherly feelings for Dante and joins him as an ally after her resurrection. Mary Ann Arkham, preferred name Lady, aka the walking arsenal, the cute human in combat gear and a schoolgirl attire.
Sold. What?
Or Cat, the sweet, innocent human psychic and practicing Wiccan witch, possibly wicked, helping out the team on DMC on various occasions. Well, various occasions is a stretch.
She's various missions.
Same thing. She's only in one game, and it's the reboot thing. This is quite easy for me. Married Lady, because she's my favourite. I think she's great. I never really liked Trish that much. I'm not crazy about her design, and I just thought she was kind of Lady's much more interesting, so I'll shag Trish, and Cat can just get in the bin. I like that game. Everyone hates it. I like it. She's really, really dull. Her design is really boring. And
she looks pretty dull, doesn't she? I mean, you can't see her midriff in this image. I mean, the other two you can see the midriff. So what's that tell you?
Well,
does she not breathe through her skin or what?
Yeah. If it was made by Capcom, a Japanese company, it would be, but it was made by Ninja Theory, who are based here in the UK.
There you go.
Well, Trish is a demon as well, so she'd probably be rocking in the sack. But what's her name? Lady. She's just a human who's really tough, and I like that her default weapon isn't just a gun. Her default weapon is a rocket launcher, like as a standard weapon. That's great. She's awesome.
Okay, I've never played these games. I'm just going to go off these images. I'm going to bin Cat off as well because she's got a hoodie on and she's got a sleeve up to here on her hand. I'm like, just roll your sleeve back. I mean, how annoying is that? Like, it's made to fit there, yet you put it there. It's not like one of those ones with a hole in that you can put on. Like, why would you wear it like that? Get a life. So she's in the bin for that reason. The rocket launcher woman looks badass, especially in that uniform. So I'd go for a brunette or the
her design's
blonde.
More creative as well because she's got like this schoolgirl miniskirt on where it's like
influence me
schoolgirl. Yeah, I am schoolgirl role play, wonderful. But part of it
is boring once,
But she's like, it's creative though because she's got like ammo pouches in the skirt. Whereas the Trish one,
I've made my decision,
leather.
Henry. I've made my decision,
leather,
Henry.
Like
it's too late now. I'm going to go shag what's her name? Lady. Because, a schoolgirl outfit, it's a little thrill, it's fine, it's great, but you wouldn't want that every single day.
You don't go out in public with that.
Yeah, every single day. Whereas Trish, right, she developed motherly feelings for Dante. She's got that in her. She's wife material. She's got a motherly, warm heart, right, as well as a big rack.
Well, I suppose. Well,
and she's shown off a midriff. She breathes through her skin, obviously. So I'm gonna. Yeah, that's my choice. And it's not a question of debate here, Henry. It's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
One of my favorite things about Trish and Lady, because they're in the mainline proper Devil May Cry games, is neither of them like date or have actual romances with Dante. He just flirts with them.
Yeah.
And they're totally platonic. So I think it's more fun that way.
There you go, fun. Let's move on to the final question.
Hold on. Cloney's answer is, I'd give the demon MILF the stick, go on a wild ride with the walking arsenal, and marry that innocent cutie. I'm not ageist. I just don't want to be married to a demon. So I think we've all had completely different answers. So Kill Trish, shag Lady, and marry Kat. What are you marrying Kat for? Nah, she can just get out. She's really boring. She needs
to pull her sleeves up. Anyway, let's move on. Not that Rob Lowe's question. In spirit.
Again, you've not been commenting it.
Yeah, is here. So not that Rob Lowe hasn't quite asked this question. He's obviously busy. He's been on holiday for 3 weeks. That's what he's done. So we've got his weekly question now. So what have you been playing? Or what's your favourite game from a certain year? 1 year after your birth every week. So this week we're on 2016 for Henry, and we're on 2001 for me. So what was your favourite game of 4 years ago, Henry?
Yeah, it's not very long ago. So there was a huge amount of games, including Overwatch, Doom, Dishonored 2, Uncharted 4, Titanfall 2, XCOM 2, Gears of War 4, Pokemon Go, Mafia 3, Super Hot, Stardew Valley, Quantum Break, The Last Guardian, and Final Fantasy 15, among many others. Part of me wants to say Pokemon Go, because out of these, it's probably the one I played the most.
Really?
Because it was right in that, that's when it released. It had that huge boom, and then it sort of reboomed a year later or whatever. But I think my favourite game among there is just Doom.
Doom. Yeah, I would have said that.
It's an easy bet.
I would have said that. You would have said that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have chosen that myself, but we might get to that one at one point. Yeah, good choice. A lot to choose from. I mean, there's just so many awesome games, and it's great that we've gone every single week. We've gone from the year of our birth. And when I first started, it was back in the really basic 8-bit games, right? And it was just the worst games ever. Well, not technically the worst games ever, but they were really bad. And we've gone forward through time now, and it feels like we've gone on the journey with the industry.
There was a bit of a lull for a while, but now you're kind of in that lull.
Yeah.
It's either really good and really iconic and genre defining, or just nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm into the period where we're oversaturated and all the games are good because they're all sort of the same.
Did I pick the right? I just want to double check that I picked the right year, because
I'm pretty sure you are.
It's 2000 last year, wasn't it? I picked. I
think so.
Triple check.
Yeah.
2000 last year. So yeah, my year this year is 2001. Just want to make sure.
Space Odyssey.
Yeah. So I was 20 turning 21 this year. So the three that I've picked that I played the most: Max Payne. Awesome game. Deals with psychological issues, and it's dark, and it's everything I like about a game. Action, dark. It makes you think. It keeps you on your toes. It throws curveballs at you. It's great.
Max Payne's one that completely passed me by at the time, because it was a PS2 release, and I didn't have a PS2 till later, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool, but just never ended up playing it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It is really good. Yeah. And then that was my third place finisher. The second place was Civilization 3. I played a shit ton of that game. So there you go, Sid Meier, legend. And my winner, just for very specific reasons, is Shenmue 2. Now, the reason I've chosen this is because it's the very first open world game that I played where you play a character, and you can go and get a job. You can go interact with the people. It was just like an open world. And when I saw it, when my friends had it, I was like, this is all. He had a Dreamcast of all things. He had it on the Dreamcast. It was like, oh my God, I have to get this. I ended up buying the Dreamcast just to play Shenmue 2. And it was all that.
Shame about Shenmue 3 just kind of
letting down.
Yeah.
I mean, Shenmue 2 doesn't hold up. It doesn't. I played it again recently. It doesn't hold up. I acknowledge that, right? But it back at the time, it was awesome. It's about me, my personal experience, and how I liked the game at the time. That's what this question is about. I know it's not the best game on my list, but it's the winner of my choice this week. So there you go. There you have it.
Well,
thus
concludes
the Discord questions for this week. If you want to get your questions for next week, just throw them in the podcast questions channel over on the now much improved Discord, thanks to Mr. Metal Shark, who's putting the graft in, as well as the other mods who are contributing to helping build the community there. So yeah, throw the questions in. We'll answer them next week. And thanks for your new question, Mr. Hobbit. What was the Hobbit? What was it? What was the name?
Oh God, I've lost it. This is embarrassing.
I'm on the wrong page. That's why.
Angry Hobbit 0.
Angry Hobbit. Why would you?
You're not 0. You're Angry Hobbit number 1.
Appreciate that, dude. And anyone else who's new? They've got a couple of other newcomers this week. just throw some comments in. You know, you've got the floor. Ask us away. And so that takes us now to the next segment of this podcast, which is the triggered fanboy comment of the week. And Henry, you got the triggered fanboy comment of the week this week, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a few because I seem to upset people by saying things and then their opinion disagrees with it, even though it's nothing that I said. And they get upset with that and then project all of their negativity onto me. So that's great fun. So in case you've missed it this week, there's been multiple stories about different developers abandoning PAX East, which is going on as we speak, due to concerns over the coronavirus. Sony started it, and now a bunch of other developers have followed suit. But where this all comes from, and they're not so much triggered, they're not even really fanboys, so I don't even know that name is particularly accurate in this case. But it's a comment that I'm reading out of people who are mad at me, so take that as you will. So yeah, this one is the Boston mayor wrote a letter to the head of Sony, Kenichiro Yoshida, criticizing them and saying that they're informing harmful stereotypes and blah, 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 and that they should come back to PAX East because that's it. They should just come back. Mm-hmm. No mention of like trying to convince him because the virus isn't a threat or anything like that. So a lot of these people, well, not a lot, there's only a handful of them really. Some people took that video to mean me saying that the virus is super dangerous and is the worst thing in the world, prompting someone called Mario F. I hope you're watching. You are this week's Triggered Fanboy. Worst video I've seen on this channel. You've fallen prey to exaggeration and fear-mongering. I hope it's not the new standard, or stay away from health news. So there's a bit of
stay away from health. How dare you not believe what I believe?
So I don't believe... These are the ones that piss me off the most. When people call me a dickhead, that's fine. There's another comment I'm going to try and find. It's from, I know which video it's in, I just need to find it, which is just like, just a bit mean. Just a bit mean. That's fine. You're not triggered, you're just mean. These ones, when they put words in my mouth, that's when it fucks me off. So feel free, there's a note for you. If you're looking to get on the triggered one, just say I'm saying stuff which I didn't say.
Yeah, just misrepresent what we say.
Misappropriate what I'm saying. Fallen prey to exaggeration and fear-mongering. Neither of those are things I did. And it's you taking your ideology and opinions about what the virus is and projecting that into this video. I never said that the virus is dangerous. I never said that the virus isn't dangerous. What I said was that I support Sony's decision because they are acting in favor of their employees instead of acting in favor of what is a good business decision. Pulling out of PAX is costing them business, technically, because it's a great opportunity to promote and market essentially to a bunch of people. It's easy. And they've got loads of stuff that they could show. They were going to show The Last of Us 2 hands-on demo to the public, so we were going to get a load of gameplay from that. That would have been amazing. But they pulled out, so that's bad publicity for them. But it's a good thing that they are voting in favor of their employees. Yeah. How can you say that's a bad thing? I don't get it. I have no idea how this is even possibly fear-mongering. And we had a bit of back and forth. And I won't read out my whole reply because it was quite long. But essentially, you're upset that I inserted my opinion, which isn't what I did. It's just not what I did. And then you tell me off saying, I can't insert my opinion, deeming the risk risky enough without expecting some backlash. I'm not expecting backlash. I'm not expecting people to mischaracterize what I'm saying.
It's one thing if you overtly...
I am factually incorrect.
If you overtly come out and say, this is an overreaction or this isn't an overreaction because the coronavirus is really harmful or it is not even a problem at all. If you come out and say those things overtly, then I accept he has... he can react like that. Because he didn't say anything like that. It was nothing. It was very neutral. It was you were reporting the facts and reporting what other people said. You weren't taking any side at all, and that's what's ridiculous. Because these, like you said, these are the most frustrating comments because it's people painting you in a picture it's a straw man argument, is what it is. They put words in your mouth in order so that they can shout you down. It's like, really?
It's not what I said.
That's just totally ridiculous, and all you're doing is you're exposing yourself as somebody who has got some preset agenda or preset mindset that you just want to vomit all over the comments on YouTube. Like, who are you convincing by vomiting this bullshit on YouTube? Nobody's convincing. You're not convincing anybody by being by arguing with people like this. It's just the worst way to prove a point, to convince people, is to be a dickhead. Come on.
There was another guy
Internet be better.
There was another guy who I won't put in the triggered fanboy because we had a bit more of a rational conversation about it. But his first comment was much harsher and kind of a bit more scathing, and did put words in my mouth. But then afterwards, we had more of a conversation, and we ultimately, agreed to disagree because we had fundamentally differing opinions. Even though none of my opinions were in the video, it was just after the fact me saying, no, that's not what I said. You want to know what I actually think? Yeah, I think that the virus has been blown out of proportion in the media. That's not to say that it isn't dangerous. People are dying.
It can be both at the same time.
It's easily treated. But if Sony sent a bunch of their people there and one person catches it, they then bring it back to everyone else. And they may not die because someone keeps commenting that the mortality rate is very low. That doesn't actually matter. These people are going to be out of action for a few weeks, which means production's going to stop, which it already has in China. Those are facts.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with my opinion. I don't think the virus is really that dangerous. People who are running around wearing masks all day, every day in unaffected areas, that's ridiculous.
And you make a good point. It's not a case that they're going to die, because it's not much mortality rate. It's the inconvenience. It's the disruption. That's what's the thing that they're fearing and trying to avoid the most.
If they sent a bunch of their team there and they came back with a broken arm, that's the same thing. A broken arm's not going to kill you, but it means you can't do your job.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be a functional member of staff.
Yeah.
And I'm arguing that Sony's favouring their employees, but realistically, they're favouring their own business because these employees can't do the job that they're being paid to do.
Yeah. They're protecting what they've got.
So,
anyway,
there you go. There's your triggered fanboy.
There's your triggered. Although he wasn't technically a fanboy, he was just
really
triggered. He's just an idiot. Just an idiot putting words in your mouth, mischaracterizing what you said in order to have an excuse to be a dickhead. I mean, there's plenty of reasons to be a dickhead on the internet. Don't make us the reason, God, especially when you're misrepresenting.
That is one thing I appreciate. The other guy I had a bit more of a back and forth with. At one point at the end of one of his comments, he said, "Oh my God, I've longed for the days when you could have an argument with someone on the internet without just dissolving into your mum jokes and stuff." Yeah. So that I did.
It turned out all right. That one.
Yeah, that one was okay.
Anyway, I've got one contender for this. Was such a contender, and then it turned out slightly differently. So Georgian Wolf says, "Ew, I hate you for showing off those tiny biceps. We get it. You like to work out so aggressive and arrogant. I hate this channel. I've had enough due to this short sleeve t-shirts. Might as well wear full on tank tops like a douche. You show off. It's ticking me off unsubscribing. Wow. This shit is making me cry. How dare you?" 4 laughy smiley cryy emojis. "Those weakling biceps are triggering me. He lifts 20-pound dumbbells. No." And then I was like, "Is this your pitch for Triggered Fanboy of the Week?" And then he replied, "No, I was doing a parody of another guy that tried last week. Please do not include me in one of your videos." Too late, dude. I read it out. The old bait and switch. I was like, really? Are you body shaming me? I was like on the. I was so ready to have this as the Triggered Fanboy, but it turns out he was just having a laugh, which is fine. It's good. But I'd already prepared my rant in retort, but there we go. And there you go. That's just how it went. Because there was somebody a couple of weeks ago in a podcast where I think I said, "Oh, we haven't got enough Triggered Fanboys. Please try harder, people." And I think he purposefully laid it on thick. So, it's like roast me. It was a roast me thing where he did that, and this guy was parodying him, and to a point where I thought he was being real. So that was quite funny.
I got one here from my Thursday video, and it's based on the tiniest story, which is the one right at the end, and it was just saying about Hideo Kojima getting a BAFTA Fellowship Award for. It's not even just for Death Stranding; it's a career acknowledgement. A few other game people have had him before. Listed it in the video. Watch it. But this one guy, among a bunch of other people, took it as any opportunity to try and shit on Death Stranding. So the narrative that people hate it is still really going strong. So this is from Tari, or Tari, if you want to say it like that. "Death Stranding winning awards is a sign for the end of gaming. I hate to break it to you, Chief, but it's been winning awards for a little while now. It's not just getting awards at BAFTA. So clearly the end of gaming has already begun, but by the looks of the slate of games coming out this year, gaming's still going pretty strong." So
absolutely,
I just think there were a few others who spoke really positively, like another guy here, Pascal. "In Death Stranding, I'm 3 episodes away from the platinum. Brilliant game is all I have to say. Just wow." So, I mean,
There you go.
There you go.
1 like on that one. 9 likes on the previous one. I don't know.
People seem to like disliking it.
I've got this another kind of a weird comment on this week's GOG's new Gamers First Approach Daily Triple. So based on that story, that GOG have implemented a new 30-day, no strings attached refund policy, which is awesomely consumer friendly. I can't think of any consumer who'd have a problem with that. Apart from this fucking dude who says, his name is Skybound Pilot. He says, "This is stupid. If you don't offer a time limit, people will abuse it. My God, what do they think? A 30-day, 5-hour limit is perfectly acceptable and still pro-gamer." So he's obviously upset because he thinks that people are going to abuse it. But it's not his liability. It's not his problem. It's not going to affect him at all. It's GOG's lookout, right? If GOG if people abuse this, it's GOG who lose out, not him. Why would he get annoyed on their behalf? I find that rationale very problematic.
Yeah.
Make any sense to me? This is stupid. You're stupid. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not your problem. You're not losing any money.
And the thing is, there are absolutely risks of exploitation, which I bring up in the video.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But CD Projekts are a business, and I'm sure they've figured out that the percentage calculated losses and all that. You might be a businessman, whomever you are, but I don't think it's fair to say that they're being stupid or whatever it was.
No, it's not stupidity at all. It's obviously a very calculated business strategy, and I think they're playing on the fact that there are a huge amount of gamers who appreciate good service. The fact that the DRM free, I keep harping on about it, but the consumer at the core type of service where they appreciate that. People don't want to fleece you. Yeah, there will be people who will fleece you and exploit it. But they do say that there will be, on an odd occasion, we might not give you a refund because obviously they don't want people to exploit it like that. But it's their lookout, it's their liability, it's them losing out money. Like, why would anybody get upset about that? That was a head scratcher. I was like this reading that comment, thinking, what the fuck are you on about? Don't be stupid. Just don't be stupid.
So I got one here from a regular commenter, actually, Daniel Clark Hughes, and it was a chef's kiss because it's so fucking spot on. Henry, okay, babe, take cover here. So for context, this was on last week's podcast where I spoke a bit about playing Gears of War with my girlfriend and how it's a really great experience playing it in co-op. She's not a gamer at all, so it's kind of helping her learn it, but at the same time, it's really, really, really frustrating at times. Mm-hmm. So, Henry, okay, babe, take cover here. Locust will come through that door there. Don't forget timed reloads, okay? Love you. She's actually really good at timed reloads, which is really weird. Henry's girlfriend empties a clip into the sky while running backwards and spinning. That exact thing happened. That exact thing. Just, why can't I hit them?
Literally what she does.
Oh, man.
Next comment is, I think it was on last week's podcast, Anne Solamao says, "I don't give a flying fuck what part of Great Britain you come from. You are just two mumbling guys. Zero effort to be understandable."
To be understandable, I feel like
zero effort to be understandable.
It's not like we're fucking Scousers, for God's sake. Now I hope you're getting offended.
Well,
I mean, do we speak in particularly strong accents?
We obviously are understandable because a lot of people do watch and understand. If you don't understand, maybe clean your ears out. Maybe get your hearing tested. I don't know what to suggest, dude. I think the problem here is on your side, not on ours.
That's stumped me. That's really
it's weird. It was a weird one. Again, another head scratcher.
If you want to know what my accent is, it's a bit of a blend these days, but it's not RP. A lot of people say they speak in RP, which is a lie. Received pronunciation, giving you a bit of a linguistics lesson. Received pronunciation is only spoken by 1% of the population. That's your Queen, that's your Jacob Rees-Mogg, that lot. They're the only ones who use RP. Most people from the South will use Southern Standard British English, which is what I speak, with a few northernisms here and there now, because I've been living there for about 5 years. You're Welsh, but you're not even like really Welsh. You've got quite a subdued accent. Like, you could be from fucking Cardiff. It's way stronger down there.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I don't have a Welsh accent
Like,
at all.
even
It's more Scouse than anything.
Yeah, in the range of...
It's like Cheshire type.
Yeah, in the range of different UK-based accents, our accents could be far more...
Oh, absolutely.
Difficult to understand. Like Scouse, or Geordie, or Brummie, or even some of the harsher Scottish ones, or even Irish. Like... There's nothing wrong with any of those accents. I'm a big fan of a lot of them. But
it could be worse. Stop quit your moaning,
so
essentially.
Quit bitching. I bet he's fucking just some small-minded, small-town American guy.
He's not
no
even American.
To Americans, but...
He's not even American. He's probably just like Russian or something. I don't know.
He's a bot.
I tried to
not
pick,
even real.
I tried to pick the least likely viewers of this podcast. If there are any Russians, it was not a dig at you guys. But maybe you just don't understand because it's not your first language. That was my assumption anyway.
Yeah, that's...
There you go.
That's fine.
Have you got another one?
I don't think I do. Well, I'll see if I can find that mean one I was talking about earlier because it's quite a good little...
Okay. I got a podcast one from last week. William Hollich comments, "God damn it!" All caps. "Of course there are players who like damage numbers and life bars. It's an accessibility issue, you narrow-minded turds." And then in regular text, "It should be an option though. Not on by default." I don't think we ever said that it should never be on, and that there are no players who like that. Did we say there were? That actually sounds like something I might say.
Well, I think
but obviously it's an exaggeration. It's a hyperbole. I don't mean literally nobody likes it. I don't literally mean that. It's just hyperbole. It's for effect. That's my shtick, right? I get ranty and I say stupid things.
I mean, there's nothing more to be said. If you like them, that's cool, sweetie. I don't.
There you go.
Like,
there's certain games, not shooters like Far Cry, New Dawn. Oh, I didn't talk about that again. I probably will. I might give it a third try. Give it a second try this week. I might give it a third try this week, and then have something meaningful to say other than just ranting at it. Shit,
this is shit.
But I'm trying to avoid that at any cost.
Well, I know where the comment is. I just can't find it because the internet is rejecting me.
It's playing up today, isn't it?
But hey ho.
Okay, so Cloney, we've had 3 comments up from this week, and he's had questions up from this week. He's got a comment on our Monday News Roundup, which is a new kind of format thing we're dabbling with, and we might even do it again next week. But he comments, we're talking about the Red Dead Redemption 2 mod he's been threatened with legal action because, among other things, it simulates sex, although they were fully clothed. There was one character who does the riding the horse animation. Anyway, so Cloney, and then he says in quotes, "When she's on top of him, she's riding him like a horse," and then end quotes, "Yeah, Gaz, that's generally how it works." Such a sassy little bitch, isn't he? Yeah, riding him like a horse. When she starts up, she's riding. Yeah, all right. I mean, you try sitting here for 2 hours. Well, it wasn't 2 hours. It was only a quarter of an hour. But you try sitting and talking sense in front of a camera. I don't talk sense in a normal general conversation. Why would I talk any more sense just because the camera's on, dude? Come on, give me a break.
If anything, it's harder.
It is a lot harder.
If you ever got the hardest part about podcasting, because it's not a script, it's just a handful of notes, is when something goes wrong and you've got to do something, you can't talk, and you've got to fill that gap because you people are listening. You can't just sit.
Try streaming, man. That's so stressful. Streaming, such a stressful time is streaming. I think you do get used to it. Obviously, you learn to deal with that anxiety that you're not being very entertaining at this particular moment.
Yeah, it's the same with like people who live on their own. They just chat to themselves because it fills the air.
Do?
Yeah. Oh, that's supposed to be a thing.
Oh, there you go. Have you got a comment?
I know where it is. I just can't find it, but it's taking the piss out of me.
Captain Ahab,
I'll try and grab
I've got
it
another
next
one.
week.
On the same video, Captain Ahab says, "I like this format on the News Roundup, which is like a 15-16 minute video of a bunch of stuff. I think it was 10 news stories now. I like this format, the Daily Piffle with a side of flaff, he says. Side of flaff. Gotta love the British slang. No idea what it means. Well, if you Googled flaff, you probably wouldn't find out either. So it's double F-A-F, faff, right? That's faff. And piffle, you got piffle right, you can Google that. There's a couple of comments. What does piffle mean? Because
did you get one? I don't know. If
yeah, there was a couple, but I think they were parodying me.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, they're probably googling what does piffle mean or whatever.
Okay, so here's one which is kind of interesting, and it's been resolved since, but I think it's a funny little Easter egg that even some of the most dedicated fans haven't actually come across. Again, from Daniel Clark Hughes, regular commenter. Still no video under the blanket. Come on, Henry, do it for the fans. Now, that is out there. You just missed it. I don't know. We've dealt with that in the comments. But if other people don't know, it is out there. We spoke about me being under a duvet. There is a video. It's the post-credit scene of one of the videos. I can't really remember which one, and I wouldn't tell you anyway because it's a surprise. Go look back. It's an excuse for all of you to go and watch back out the past week's videos. I think it was last week.
Watch them all till you find it. Come on. If you're not watching all the videos, like, what kind of fan are you?
I made sure to properly trick you because the credit is like, bye for now, end card, bit of gameplay footage. It's even after that for like the last 12 seconds.
Doesn't cut in straight away.
So go have a look. It's great fun.
Find it if you dare.
I'm a man of the people. It's really horrendously poor quality, and I think that really adds to it.
Okay, I think I have one more comment. Talking about the Division 2 last week on the podcast. Massimiliano Zambonelli. That sounds like an Italian name. More than 10 hours in and still can't see that Washington, D.C. and not New York. I smell paid review. Smiley thumbs up emoji.
Oh, wow. You made a slip of the tongue and you said it. Oh,
I actually thought it was New York, and I knew...
The first one's in New York.
Yeah, I know, yeah. That's where the problem... And I knew that the White House is there, and I still didn't put two and two together and figure out that it was Washington. Because I was in the White House, and I'm still thinking, oh, this is great New York. I was just being stupid. I was being stupid. That wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was stupidity on my part. And, we was laughing about it.
Did you only get one comment about that?
I think there was another one, but that was the best.
Normally it's good for, as you say, if you get something
one mistake is a bunch of comments at least. And that's all I've got. Have you got any more?
I'm sure this video's trying to load, but it's just not cooperating. So I think I'm going to have to give it a miss.
Yeah, there we go. Give that a miss. Now, next, we do have a dad joke.
Right, well, this better be a good one, because last week's you had to do two because the first one wasn't very good.
I do have a bonus one for you, right?
Oh, excellent.
So this is the actual bad dad joke of the week, right? Are you ready? Why did the crab never share?
I don't know. Why did the crab never share? I wonder.
Because it was selfish.
I think isn't
shellfish.
Isn't it shellfish?
Yeah, I fucked that up. But luckily we do have a spare. Now this comes in of Cloney on the Discord.
Got some serious play on this fucking episode, Cloney.
Cloney, man, he's the MVP of this episode. So what do you call it when, like, we've just described the situation that we're all talking about, right? What do you call it when Henry researches a video at home?
I don't know. What do you call it when I research a video at home?
Undercover investigating.
That's going to fuck up the levels, but I don't care.
And then there's a follow-up. And what's his dark web name?
I don't know. What is my dark web name?
The Hood. Get it?
Great.
But 3 for the price of one.
Perfect.
And,
go find that clip. It's funny.
Cloney dug me out of a hole there because I fucked up the actual bad dad jokes. But thank you very much for everybody's contribution, not just Cloney, the MVP of today's show. We will see you again in next week. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Support us on Patreon. Why not? If you're this far into the podcast, you obviously like it. Support us on Patreon. We wouldn't be here without the patrons. We really appreciate everybody. And then you can ask us a question. You could put us on the spot and ask us whatever you like. Why not do that? Thanks for watching. On behalf of Henry and I, we'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.